Okay, so first of all, I'm going to correct my spelling that I just noticed in these. You haven't even seen these lecture notes, but hey, I'm working on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this equation here, and I want to go over the steps for doing it. And I've got the steps I've got up in the lecture notes. So first, leading coefficient test. So when I look at this, my leading coefficient is 1, so I have a positive number, and my degree is 4, right? That's my largest one, which is even. So I have an even degree and a positive leading coefficient. This means both my ends will go up, okay? So that means both ends are going in the same direction, in this case up, because the leading coefficient is positive. So I don't know what my graph is going to do in the middle, but I do know, I don't know what this is doing. I don't know what it's going to do, but I do know that both ends are going to go up. I just don't know what's going on in the middle there. Okay? So that's what that tells us. Okay, now intercepts. So let's find intercepts. So I'm going to start by factoring. So I'm going to take out x squared minus x plus 9. And then I can factor, and this factors, it's a perfect square binomial, that factors really nicely. So this means then my zeros are 0 and 3. Now this has a multiplicity of 1, meaning that it is going to actually, a multiplicity of 2. What am I looking up here at this? I'm talking something else. Both of these have multiplicities of 2 because they both have, man, I'm hitting every button I don't want to. Because they both have exponents of 2. That multiplicity means it's going to just turn around. So it's going to bounce on that. It's not going to cross it. Then the Y-intercept, so I need to find the Y-intercept as well. So then f of 0, well, I'm going to get, let's see here, 0, 0, 0. So that means I have a point of 0, 0. So let's see here. Symmetry, even or odd. This, let's see here. No, this will have neither. I can tell because I have a mix of even and odd exponents. And so like these two aren't going to change when I put it in, but that one will. But not all of it will. So it'll have neither. Okay, and turning points. The most turning points I could have right is 3 because my degree is 4. So I'm going to start graphing this, and I'm going to start, okay, so I'm going to start by putting, so I have the point 0, 0, okay, and I have the point 1, 2, 3. Now in both cases, I know I'm going to end up in, but both cases they're going to simply turn around. They're not going to actually cross. Now when I go to graph this, I want to know what's happening between these two graphs. I'm like, oh, who knows what's going on here. So I'm going to pick some points. I'm going to probably pick a couple of points. So I'm going to do, let's say here, I've got this. So I'm going to do f of 1 and f of 2 and see what's going on in there. So f of 1 is going to give me 1 minus 6 plus 9. So that's 10. This is 4. And then what about 2? Well, 2 is going to give me, that's going to get big. 2 to the 4th is, no, 2 to the 4th is 16 minus 6 times 8, 2 to the 3rd, plus 36. So this is also 4. So what do I got going on here? I've got both of these, 1 here, 2, 3, 4. Both of these are things. I know they're not even, so this tells me there's probably a turning point somewhere in here. Okay, so I could pick another point, or I could just decide I was going to go for it. So I know this has to come in this way because this comes up this way. This is coming up this way and then bouncing. So I got some sort of U shape going on here. And again, if I was really curious about how far that went up, I would then graph it. But you can see here I have 1, 2, 3 turning points, which is possible on this. So that seems to go good. And because these came up the same value, that's what told me that, hey, I know I don't have a constant function here. I don't have a straight line because that would be a polynomial. So I knew it had to come up in some sort of arc and then come down since there was no 0 between there. Now, certainly you could pick a point in here. I could throw in 1.5 and see what happens. Well, let's go back and do that just for the fun of it. So 1.5 to the 4th minus 3 means 6 times 1.5 to the 3rd plus 9 times 1.5 squared. And I get like 5.06. So you can see here, I'm getting a, kind of right up there point, and I can see that arc coming back down. Now, let's go back and let's graph this. So we want to make sure we can hand graph all these. But there's nothing wrong with doing a little graphing too to see what's going on here and get some feel of these graphs. Nothing wrong with checking them that way either. So you can see here that topped out, well, at 1.5. So, and you can see those are the 2 zeros I found, and those are the 2 ends going off just as anticipated. So it gives you a sense of how to do this and what we can tell just by looking at the graph. So you can see we got a lot of information before we even started, and then you're just kind of picking a few points to fill in the gaps. Like you're not sure what a graph does? Throw some points at it. That always works.